Wow.
Good job, Skype.
We should do that more often. Just like start a recording and then stop a recording and then start it again. Everything will work out fine.
Maybe Skype is trying to compete with Zoom.
Yeah, but Skype lets us talk for more than 45 minutes without paying for it.
Yeah.
Thanks,
That's
Skype.
also helpful. Thanks. Not sponsored. Should be sponsored.
Should be, yeah, by this point. Oh my god. Whee!
Everybody tell your friends to listen so that Skype will sponsor us.
Yes. And if you don't know who we are, we're Millennial Monologue.
That's important. Sorry, I had to swallow my beer. That's Morgan Humberg right over there.
Beer is important, and that's Casey Lowenthal. She's even more important right on the other side of the screen. And as I said, this is Millennial Monologue. Cue theme music. I wonder how many people actually watch the videos, because all of you listeners are missing out.
I hope to God none. When we first started doing this and we were like, yeah, you can watch us on YouTube too, and now we don't really promote it. Yeah. Also, we didn't say in our squibs and soliloquies where you can find us.
Oops, I'll add it on.
Editing magic. Rules. Yes, editing magic. We have to get used to like not talking over each other again. But yeah, so when we first started and my mom was being a wonderful supportive parent, and she was like, I'm gonna watch, and I watch you guys on YouTube and I put it on the TV so I can listen while I'm cleaning, and I'm like, please just do that on Spotify. I'm cringing.
Oh, so God.
It took a little bit, but now she listens on a podcasting app.
I mean, I'm definitely a physical comedian, so I think my mom watches just because she knows what kind of a person I am. But I did get her to download Spotify, thankfully. So, hi, Mom. Thanks for listening.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Morgan's mom. Hi, other moms.
Hi, all you moms out there, and dads, and non-parents. And, yeah, we could go down the list, but I think it's pretty long.
Probably. There's lots of different types of people.
Yeah.
And we just can't get to you all right now.
No, there's so many.
I'm sorry.
We just want everyone to know that we're saying hi. Hi, everyone.
You all get a participation ribbon because this is millennials.
Yeah. It doesn't count unless you get a ribbon or a trophy.
If you're curious about our thoughts on participation awards, go find that in one of our early episodes. I don't remember which one. That's your job. Figure it out.
Seriously. And if you can't find it in the description, well, I guess it's your job to listen to all of them. Sorry.
Yeah, Morgan and I are being sneaky moms and making you do it yourself.
Guilting you. Pretend we have that look on our face of just, you gotta do it. I'm not gonna force you to do it, but
if you don't, we're gonna be really disappointed.
Yeah.
Isn't disappointment worse?
It is. It really is. Just like our disappointment in this government. Anyways.
Oh my goodness. Go vote.
Umbrella opened.
Please go vote. Please trust science. Please go vote.
Da-da-da.
Oh my goodness.
Segue.
So you probably listened to our most recent Squibs and Soliloquies, which came out before this episode you're listening to right now. But because of editing magic, it's the same day for me and Morgan. And Morgan just did a fun little eyebrow wiggle.
I keep forgetting that people probably aren't going to see me, but yes, I raised my eyebrows up and down and up and down.
You're a natural film star. You can't help it.
I know, it's a problem.
It's not a problem. Also, speaking of film stars, do you want to go ahead and plug your film starness?
Yeah, I had a great cast and crew on the set of Two-Headed Beast, which was just featured in a horror film festival, in the American Horror Film Festival. You can no longer watch it for free, but you are welcome to pay and support other artists in their journey to making art. Again, that's Two-Headed Beast, directed by Nate Southard. Great guy. Again, great crew. My cast they were all right, but I was a star, so it's fine. Just kidding. I love you all. Thank you all for letting me be a part of it. Two-Headed Beast in theaters someday.
Yes, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram, Two-Headed Beast Movie.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's Two-Headed Beast Movie on Instagram. I don't know. Just search Two-Headed Beast Movie. I guess you'll find it some way, somewhere.
We have faith in you all. You all have time. You can find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen the movie. It's amazing. Morgan kills it.
Literally and figuratively.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, it is a horror film. Let's be honest here.
Every aspect of it was so well done. And
yeah,
highly recommend. And I cannot wait to see what you do in the future, Morgan.
Oh dear, neither can I. See what happens. We're doing a lot of horror films lately, but it is 2020, so
it's very fitting.
Very, extremely.
But yeah, so you've listened to our most recent Squibs and Soliloquies, where we give you a little quick and dirty overview of some changes we want to do to the podcast. And so this episode is going to be the first of those changes. Words are hard. So basically the format is going to be so that Morgan and I can put more effort and talk to the things that we're most interested about, while also bringing attention different thing. Why can't I talk? While also like bringing different social justice things to everyone's attention, and so that we can all collectively learn more about it, raise awareness. Through raising awareness, we can raise money and all those other amazing things, and like call to action. But I mentioned in there, if you listened, which if you didn't listen, go back and listen, that we're going to be doing like some more series and everything like that. This is going to be the first in my series, and I'm calling it the Castile Soapbox. Get it? Because Castile soap is plant-based, and I'm going to talk about veganism. But I think it's really funny.
I think it's hilarious. After I Googled what Castile was, but so don't feel alone. Don't feel embarrassed.
Castle. It's not Castle. I'm sure you could have Castle soap. Maybe Lush makes it. I don't know.
Probs.
But yeah, so that's what we're here to do today. And I just wanted to give like my setup episode, my set levels episode, my intro episode, my coming up with different things to stall talking about this episode. I don't know what I'm doing.
I guess I have to come up with new theme music now. I'll get Jared right on that.
Okay.
And there'll be trumpets and saxophones and clarinets, maybe an oboe or two. I don't know.
Yeah, can we have what's some hippie music?
Didgeridoo. Oh, I have to have my mom send me our didgeridoo so that I can record something.
That would be so fun.
It would. There's probably a couple spiders in there, but I'll blow them out. It's fine.
Send it by USPS. Support the Postal Service.
Yes, we need them. Whoever says we don't need the Postal Service is absolutely crazy.
They're a tyrant.
People still mail things. Sorry.
Yeah. Buy stamps.
Yes. That reminds me, I need to buy stamps. Mark that on my list now.
They have lots of fun stamps too. Like, come on.
You know, I was actually this is really weird because yesterday I was just thinking if you can like make custom stamps.
I know there used to be stamps.com that had like a whole bunch of other stamps, and like John Oliver had stamps on there and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it went out of business.
Oh, sad.
But it supported the USPS.
I'm gonna have to look it up. That'll be a follow-up.
Maybe we'll do an episode all about the Postal Service.
I love the Postal Service.
Mail time.
Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me wanna wag my tail. When it comes, I wanna wail. Mail. Thank you, Blue's Clues.
If you don't know that song, you are not a true millennial. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we are not exclusionary. Please stay.
We love you too.
Please. Focus, Casey, focus. So, pause. This is just for Morgan. That reminded me of, and I saw on my time hop, I think it was today or yesterday, I was like, I just want to get rid of Judy. And then that reminded me of Judy.
I almost said that in the mic, but then I was like, no, we got to get serious. Don't get her off track. But the fact that you were thinking that was just like So perfect.
Actually, leave that in, and we'll see how many people we know actually listen to this. So I'm focusing. We're doing this. Veganism. Castile soapbox. Okay. I wanted to go in with a definition of veganism because I've learned there's actually a lot of confusion about what it is. I've run into like people not knowing exactly what it is. It's obviously gotten a lot more popular lately with the Instagram and all of those things, but there's a lot of different things you can do. So there's a lot of people who will eat what they call plant-based or that don't necessarily consider themselves vegan. Yeah, there's a lot of different things. Veganism is really like, I consider veganism like a lifestyle. So according to vegansociety.com, veganism is a way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as possible and practicable, I didn't know that was a word, all forms of exploitation of and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose. So for vegans, they just do everything in their power to not use any animal byproduct or anything that uses animal exploitation for human desires, basically. And there's also a lot of different things within different subsets of the vegan community. Like some vegans think that horseback riding is not okay. Some vegans think it's totally cool. There's lots of debate about like, and these are all things I want to go into and like do deeper dives on, just for my own knowledge, but I think it would be fun to share too. Wow, I'm saying so much. I almost said it again.
No, it's okay.
So, but yeah, I want to do deep dives on all those things, share that knowledge. But yeah, I totally forgot where I was going, so we're just gonna keep going. I'm like that Michael Scott bit where he's like, sometimes I don't know what I'm saying when I start a sentence, so I just keep talking and figure, like, hope it turns out, or whatever he says.
That's what I do at company meetings.
Yeah, you just kind of keep going. Something will come out.
Really good at bullshitting. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, there's lots of resources. There's lots of documentaries. One that's very hard to watch, but I highly encourage, is a documentary called Earthlings. They break it down into 5 parts of animals used for food, science, fashion, entertainment, and I think transportation is the other one. Really hard to watch, really eye-opening, which I think is why for so many things it's so much easier to be blissful and just not know and not further educate yourself, because when you learn about it, it's a lot of things you didn't want to know, and it's a lot of things that there's a reason why they're not talked about a lot. And I think that's one of the great things about millennials and Gen Z and all that stuff that are really working toward uncovering those things and really trying to better society. So
it's like a lot of those uncomfortable to watch things that are very educational but just hard to watch.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, this isn't the 50s anymore. We talk about things, we talk about hard things, and as Glennon Doyle says, we can do hard things. And that has been my slogan for 2020.
Can I just pull a Michael Scott here real quick and go, that's what she said?
Yes. Always. So I wanted to do some frequently asked questions.
Yay, I love facts. Facts.
Yes. Facticus.
I was going to say facus sounds like fuck you really fast.
Or it sounds like j'accuse.
We are French.
We're just accusing each other with facts.
Bum, bum, bum.
Almost like what people should be doing to our government.
Umbrella.
Shade. So this is vegan.com. So before I was on vegansociety.com, and now I'm on vegan.com. And their tagline is making vegan easy. Again, not sponsored. I just did a quick Google search. Also, another thing I just want to point out that I'm sure a lot of us have been seeing in this time that's been very much highlighted. It's very, very easy to get misinformation on the internet. Please dive a little farther than that first Google search or that Facebook article. You'll be better for it. Try to read things before you share them.
Yeah.
And let's flex our critical thinking muscles together.
Especially on the Facebook post, because one, they could have misleading headlines. Two, even after you read the Facebook article, you should definitely Google and back up your facts before you comment on somebody else's status or share it.
Yeah, and try to follow news sources that try their darndest to be unbiased.
Yes.
I like NPR, although NPR, a lot of people think NPR isn't, it's, a lot of people think NPR is really left, but then a lot of people are like, no way, they talk about the housing crisis and then they interview a landlord. Like,
NPR.
But yeah, I like the ACLU. The ACLU is really good. That's the, I forget what the acronym stands for. It's, they defend the Constitution, basically.
Always care, loving you.
American Civil Liberties Union.
That's better than what I had. Yeah.
ACLU. NPR. Lots of acronyms. But yeah, so we're gonna do some frequently asked questions now. Some FAQs.
FAQs. On to the FAQs.
So according to this one about what a vegan is, so vegans avoid eating all foods of animal origin. This includes meat, fish, dairy products, eggs, and honey. I eat honey, even when I'm being a more strict vegan, and I'll get into that later. And I'm planning on doing a whole episode on honey, so that may change at the point you're watching this. I don't know. So this says veganism was originally defined purely as a dietary choice, but many vegans extend this ethic to shun animal testing, ingredients from anything they consume or wear. So that includes clothing, shoes, skincare, bags, cosmetics is a big one that you see a lot. Basically, veganism, a lot of people view veganism as a lifestyle, like I said before. So you'll typically see a lot of people when they talk about cosmetics, especially, they'll say they're cruelty free, but I figure, why not take that extra step from being cruelty free where the products aren't tested on animals, and then just kind of mosey on over into all vegan products where no animals were harmed whatsoever. So that's really interesting. And that goes back to what I was saying before about like people who are plant-based or things like that. A lot of people will do a vegan diet just for health or to lose weight. A lot of people will say, and again, we'll get into all of these in later episodes. But there's a lot of reasons why people go vegan. So that'll be the next frequently asked question. So this is a very general summation. So one is to prevent animal suffering. So a lot of farm animals are raised on factory farms because of capitalism and all of these things. You're going to realize that everything's intertwined, and in the words of Georgia Hardstark, it goes all the way to the top. So, but basically in these factory farms, they're literally bred just to be slaughtered. And they don't have good quality of life. There's a lot. Then a lot of people claim, and there are a lot of scientific studies to back this, the health benefits of veganism. And I want to highlight, because I know people are going to say this, because a lot of people like to try to debate you about your vegan choices when it comes up. You can still be unhealthy on a vegan diet because there's a vegan substitute for everything. That's one of the amazing things about the time we live in right now. You can create everything, but also still highly processed foods. And if you have lots of additives and things like that, and again, please talk to your doctors. I'm not a dietitian. I don't want to get sued. But you want to, if you're able, and again, this is going to be a whole nother topic, if you're able, eating as many whole foods like fruits and vegetables and things like that, and beans and nuts and seeds and all of that fun, amazing stuff, and grains, that's where it's at. So that's what people are talking about when they say health benefits.
Real quick, not to get you off track, but I just, my brother actually introduced me to this. I believe it's some sort of chicken substitute, and it's spelled Seitan, I believe. I've been pronouncing it like, yeah. So like, Seitan, is that like an example of like a highly processed type vegetarian vegan thing?
I don't know much about seitan right now. I don't think I've ever had it, but I think it's in the family of tofu and tempeh.
Oh, okay.
So tofu is basically soy cheese. It's made the same process as cheese, but it's made with soy.
Oh, so it's all around gross. Got it. Okay. Kidding.
um, so yeah, like that's there's lots of vegan substitutes. Um, it's a really exciting time we live in. So then another reason why people choose to go vegan, and this I think is going to interest Morgan a lot, is the environmental impact.
Yes.
So if you've ever heard those like random stats that people will pull out of like it takes this much water to make a hamburger, it's a lot. And a lot of the reason that parts of the Amazon are being cut down is because they're using it for cattle farms and factory farming and things like that. So, and also, a lot of people will cite the large amounts of methane produced by livestock. And so, the more people that choose not to eat meat, you decrease the demand for those animals. And therefore, because everything is supply and demand, if the demand goes down, they'll match the supply and they'll lower the supply. So that's a really good way to reduce your carbon footprint of just like, even if you choose not to cut out meat completely, if you reduce it, that already helps. Oh, here's a good one. Is it better to, if you're interested in being vegan, is it better to make the transition gradually or all at once? I know my sister did like a one and done. Like she's been vegan for, I want to say over 3 years, 3.5 years. Whereas because I struggle with my relationship with food and that's something I'm working on. I kind of like ebb and flow. And that's something I'm working on being okay with while also like working to improve. So, So it says if you're massively committed, you certainly can make the transition overnight. Thousands of people have successfully done it. But it's obviously easier to take your time and get acquainted with as many vegan foods as possible and cut out animal-based foods little by little as you feel ready. So a lot of the times, especially when people find out you're vegan, they're like, oh, I would totally be vegan, but I can't give up cheese. Like that's when you hear a lot because cheese is actually addictive. We'll talk about that maybe later.
That's me.
But
I feel like you literally just portrayed me.
yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone.
I love
Um,
cheese.
So it's like, okay, if that's literally the only thing holding you back, cut out everything else except cheese.
No. Sorry. Sorry, I'm a millennial. I stand strong with my beliefs.
Oh my god. That's right. We all had weak parents, so we're just used to like I don't know. So so yes. There are ways to reduce your animal byproduct consumption in ways that work for you. And then another thing people will throw at you a lot is oh my god, the protein question. Well, where do you get your protein? And it's so irritating. I'm just coming up with so many episode ideas. I'm going to have to go back and listen to this and write down all of my episode ideas. But we'll do a deep dive on protein. Basically, in a general overview, people who eat the Western American diet get too much protein, actually. And my sister likes to say, I get my protein where your protein gets its protein. Yeah, I'll save that for the deep dive.
As my heart stops beating because of all the red meat I eat. But anyway.
And Morgan has just left the building. I was gonna say something darker, and then I realized it was too dark.
Oh, nothing's too dark for millennial monologue. I mean, we could go Shakespeare level if we really wanted to.
Ooh, exit pursued by a bear.
Oh dear.
Except if we were to do it vegan, we couldn't be pursued by a bear because that bear would be used for, if he would be exploited for human desire. Or she. It could be a she bear. But anyway.
Or a they, them, their bear.
Yes, it could be a non-binary bear. A non-barinary, if you will. We're canceled.
I was gonna say, is this offensive? Because I didn't mean it to be. I'm just saying, if humans have a process of thought, bears do too. I mean, they used to train bears to do tricks and stuff. They're very smart, so they can identify however they may so please.
That's true. We
As
love
a fuzzy
bears.
wuzzy or a baldy waldy.
We love bears.
We do. Especially Berenstain bears.
Bernstein. Bernstein.
Anyways, I'm off track.
Ooh,
That's
anyways,
what I'm here
okay.
for.
But yeah, people love to throw the protein thing at you. And my sister likes to say, I get my protein where your protein gets it from, or where your protein gets its protein. So a lot of people argue that plant-based protein is actually a lot more effective because you're basically cutting out the middleman. And nuts and seeds and beans and legumes and all those other things, huge amounts of protein. Like, did you know that peas have an insane amount of protein?
Is that why people don't eat them?
Maybe.
I mean, I love peas, but I feel like people judge me every time I eat them.
I love peas.
They're so good.
I love regular peas. I love chickpeas. I love black beans. Oh, I cannot get enough of black beans.
Wait, are chickpeas the same, like in the same group as peas, like
I don't
green
think
peas?
so.
Oh, okay. You had me worried there.
I was just kind of going.
Because we went from peas to beans, and then I was like, oh dear, there's a whole group of foods I don't even know about.
It's the missing link.
The more you know.
Yes. But yeah, so obviously you'll get the protein thing, and you don't need to eat meat to get protein if you have a well-balanced diet. So, controversy alert. But anyway, and another one people throw at you is B12. And I'm going to burst some bubbles here gladly. Even people who eat meat should be taking a B12 supplement because B12 comes from like a microorganism that it's less represented in our modern day diet because everything's more sanitary. So when you think about it, people who eat meat that are getting more B12 than people who don't eat meat, it's because your food comes from a less sanitary place, which slaughterhouses and factory farms are very disgusting.
Excuse me while I go throw up my dinner. Continue.
Yeah. So B12 supplements are where it's at. Everybody should be taking them. Talk to your doctor. I'm not a dietitian. Or doctor. I'm not a doctor either. Sorry, Morgan.
Damn. Does that mean I should cancel my appointment with you next Wednesday? Were you going to lie to me?
No.
I knew it. I knew it. You're going to tell me to cut out meat.
No. I mean, will your insurance cover the appointment and then I still get paid?
Yeah, totally. It'll pay for my plane ticket
Cool.
to see a non-licensed doctor.
Yes.
Yeah. You're on my insurance, totes.
And then another thing is basically, can people be athletes while being vegan? And there are a growing number of athletes who are vegan or who eat like what they may call plant-based. Everybody loves to talk about Beyonce. I just want to point out that Beyonce was vegan to get ready for her homecoming performance at Coachella. So, like, if it's good enough for Beyonce, it's good enough for me.
I mean, I've always been told, and I kind of know this because I won't say I'm like a fad dieter, but I do enjoy the occasional like 3-day juice cleanse every so often because, like, I know my energy levels kind of die down within the first 2 days, but after that third day, I feel so much better and I just feel clean and light and I just feel good. Even if I haven't lost any weight, it's more like just to kind of clean out my system, which now that I'm talking about it out loud just tells me that I should eat healthier in general, but just keep proving Casey's point.
There's no shame. There's no shame here. Shame Wizard is not welcome. But
man.
That kind of... Oh, I wanted to talk about my relationship with veganism really quickly to kind of bring us on home. So my mom tells me a story of when I was really little. I was maybe like in preschool. She took me grocery shopping with her and I saw the chart by like the meat counter where they show where different cuts of beef comes from on a cow. And that's when my little brain connected that meat came from an animal. And I like refused to eat meat for 2 weeks or something. And so it's kind of always been in me. And a lot of little kids actually do that when they realize. And one of the reasons why I practice, and I use the word practice very intentionally. One of the reasons why I practice veganism and I practice not eating meat is because I strongly believe if I couldn't do it, why would I pay someone else to do it for me? I don't think it's fair to put that expectation on someone else to just kill an animal all day long because I want a hamburger. And like Morgan, you and I are both from small towns, and I think I touched on this before in the episode where we talked about 4-H, when I couldn't believe the rabbit tent where kids showed their rabbits, and then at the end of the fair they sold them and then they got turned into rabbit nuggets literally right next to the tent.
Yeah. That's disgusting.
Yeah. And you'll see a lot of things of people who eat chickens and people who eat cows and pigs and things like that in the United States will look down on people in different countries in Asia for eating dogs, because we look at dogs differently than how we look at farm animals, and I don't think that's cool. Pigs are so intelligent. Pigs are so smart. Cows are so sweet, and all of these things. So basically, there's a huge disconnect between us and our food that I think there shouldn't be. I think you should know where your food comes from so that you can make an educated decision on how you want to eat. I know there are many reasons why a vegan diet is not for everybody, and we'll get into that later, but I am in a privileged enough situation where I can practice veganism and I can practice vegetarianism and I can do it effectively to where I'm healthy. It's important to me to do that, and because I'm creating demand for vegan lifestyles, it's becoming profitable for companies. Like, there are dairy farms that are investing way more in plant-based milks because that's where the money is. I think our generation and everyone after that, us, is really all about taking the veil away from things, and I think that's part of why veganism has gotten so popular. And I think that's really a good note to end this intro episode to my Castile soapbox series.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, just to kind of to add on that, since you kind of like touched on 4-H, I just think it's interesting, especially with millennials. I feel like, what is the next Generation Z or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're actually bringing up veganism more, because I feel like for millennials, we definitely lifted the veil on stuff, but it was interesting going through 4-H because the only animal that I currently eat that I like showed in 4-H was chickens, because I showed rabbits, but I never ate them. I have not eaten rabbit ever. I would never eat it because like I raised it and I watched it, and I was just like, why would people do that? But on the other hand, I never raised cows, but I eat meat, like red meat, and I never raised pigs, and I'll eat pork. We sent in chickens for slaughter one time because we got like 7 roosters and we couldn't do anything with them. So, and they were kind of aggressive, so we had to send them away. And no matter who we sent them to, they were going to get slaughtered anyway. So we personally sent them once. Actually, we didn't even personally send them. We sent them with somebody else who sent them to a slaughterhouse. So, but it's interesting for me because I look at those animals that I raise and I'm like, I can't eat them. I mean, I don't even eat deer. Not that I raise deer, but I don't eat any quote unquote weird wildlife meat
Okay.
that I don't know about. Because I know, like, going through the ag courses, maybe it's just because we were in smaller towns, more agricultural based. We learned all about the meat cuts and everything, and all that fun stuff. Not super fun, but I know other classmates of mine that went through 4-H would show cows and pigs and all that, and they have no problem eating it because they like know what the process is, and that's like their debate is saying, well, I know where it goes and what happens to it, and all that fun stuff that I don't want to hear about. So they have no problem eating it. But on the other hand, I'm like, I raised rabbits. I'm not going to eat them. I wouldn't. I cried every time they showed the meat pen rabbits at the show because I was like, they're really going to eat them? And they weren't even mine.
Yeah. I'd be
So,
curious how many of the people, and I know there are people like this, I just haven't personally met any of the ones who raise the animals and then like raise farm animals and also know and have seen the slaughter process.
mm-hmm.
But also there are so many things that go into this that again I'll do a deep dive on, and I'm really excited to like just even for my own enrichment.
Right.
But the effect that it has to have on the people who work there,
Yeah.
you're killing things all day long. And I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell anybody listening. Like, the animals know they're going to die, they're scared.
Right.
And also, a lot of the people who are in those jobs, a lot of people who are in agricultural jobs in general, because they're very underpaid and they're very overworked, are undocumented people and people who are taken advantage of. That includes like people who farm for kale. Like, there's a lot
Right.
to be done in all areas. I'm not saying like veganism solves all problems, because it doesn't. And that's another thing I want to talk more about continuously is like veganism and white supremacy, veganism and environmental racism, and like all of these things, everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
So it's hard to talk about these things in a vacuum, but yeah, I'd be very interested if you're one of those people who raised animals and knows and has seen the slaughter process and you still eat meat, like, feel free to reach out to us, feel free to talk to us. But also, I think a reason why they can do that is they disconnect themselves from the fact that those animals are living things. And I don't know, I don't think it's right in like I don't have to eat animals, so like they weren't just bred to be food.
Yeah.
I really respect the way indigenous cultures did things, because they only took what they needed, they only killed what they needed, and they respected the animals, they respected nature. I don't feel that modern modern animal farming does. And yeah, so I really disagree with how the meat industry works, and I really disagree with how the fish industry works and the dairy industry. The dairy industry is a lot more harmful than any of us ever wanted to believe. And there, my cat's freaking out. I don't know if you can hear.
She's like, animal rights.
Yes.
See, the cats know. You have to trust the cat.
Um, Cats are also largely carnivorous, so I'm planning on doing another episode, like a deep dive about veganism and pets. But
See, cats are just waiting on people to kill themselves by overeating meat, and then they will eat us. That is their plan.
yeah, because we'll all be nice and fatty by then.
Mm-hmm.
uh, because of like different groups lobbying for things, and different parts of the food industry having way more political power than they ever should. Like, that's why there was all the got milk ads. That's why the food pyramids looked the way they did, because I don't want to get too far off track. This is just supposed to be a general episode, but like this I think will be a good taste, no pun intended,
Yeah.
for what we're going to get into here, and I'm really excited.
A nice green, healthy taste.
It's
I'm really
earthy.
excited too, Casey, because like I definitely want to learn more, but I also don't want to learn more because I know it's gonna scare the shit out of me.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I'm excited, especially since you've been to like South America and kind of seen all the stuff out there, and it's a whole different continent. Yeah, I'm excited. This is gonna be fun and scary,
Yeah.
and we're gonna ride this scary ride together.
Yeah.
Splash Mountain.
Yes. But yeah, I also want to highlight, like, I'm not here to shame anybody. I'm like,
Except
this
me.
is
She's out to get me. This whole
no.
podcast was a ruse to get me to feel bad. about
Yes.
eating.
I telepathically convinced Morgan to tell me to start a podcast with her just so that I could or almost a year down the line be like, hey, I'm going to talk about veganism.
We put a lot of work into this podcast. I'm just saying.
There's a
thought
lot
went into
behind the
this.
scenes. No, but um, I'm not here to shame anybody. I am far from perfect. Like with so many things and also veganism. Like a month ago I was craving eggs like crazy and I caved and I got eggs at a restaurant and yeah. And I was like, these are so good. And then the person I was with was like, well, like, just eat eggs. And I was like, but then I think about how they get to my plate and it makes me so sad.
Yeah. Also, side note, I just have to say this because I know there are a lot of people who don't know this. Um, not all eggs are baby chickens. Chickens lay eggs naturally with or without a baby chicken in them. They have to fertilize them like humans do. So, just to let you know.
How do you know if there's a chicken in the egg or not?
So there's actually a couple of different ways. In 4-H, I learned that you can shine a flashlight in through it, and if they're opaque enough, you can kind of see the embryo
Okay.
in there. And then there's also I forget which one it is, but you like fill up a bowl with water and you stick the egg in there, and depending on if it floats or it sinks a certain way, that tells you if it's fertilized or not. So,
Okay.
but it's been a while since I've had chickens and picked their eggs out, so I've forgotten some of it. But that's a way to do it. So,
Interesting. Okay.
but yeah, I told somebody that in like high school. They never realized that eggs are not all baby chickens. And their mind was blown. So
Well,
I hope I just
since
exploded a few minds.
since we're talking about chickens and eggs, I have something really funny yet embarrassing for me. Because I knew that chickens laid eggs no matter what. Because
Right, right.
it's like a human body. You know, you every cycle you release an egg. Um, I this is so embarrassing.
Oh no.
I I didn't think chickens had sex. I thought the eggs got fertilized outside the chicken.
How is that even possible?
Seahorses do it, I thought. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up too. I don't know.
Seahorses. No, I think that is a seahorse thing, but I think they're special because they're underwater.
Okay.
I feel like that's slightly different. Because I
Maybe we'll
think
have to do an episode all about fish procreation.
fish
That would
versus
be really
chicken.
on brand for us. Chicken of the sea. That should be the title of this episode. Castile Soapbox, Chicken of the Sea.
Chicken of the sea. And we're not talking about the cans of tuna.
Is this chicken or fish I have?
No, that's good. That's good. Uh, this is fun. Now that Casey has made me feel like a terrible human being. No, I'm kidding. I feel fine.
No shame.
No shame. No shame in whatever works for you. But, I mean, on the other hand, I should encourage myself to lean towards veganism because it's better for the environment, as you mentioned earlier.
We're going to do a whole deep dive on veganism and the environment.
Woo! Swimming in that one.
Yes.
Kelp water.
I think I talked and I ummed and I paused a lot. So I'm going to say, sounds
Wait.
good. Oh,
Wait.
We have to tell people where to find us.
Yeah, how are people going to listen to us again?
They're going to listen to us how they're listening right now, but if they want to tell other people how to listen to us,
They can do that?
yeah. Yeah.
How do they do that?
Here.
I'm scared.
It is spooky season. Spooky season for me started in like August though. So
Spooky season for me started November 1st.
oh, that's sad. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes. It started.
Yes.
Starts November 1st, it ends October 31st.
And then starts all over.
For those who don't know how a calendar works.
Maybe we'll explain that in a later episode. If you'd like to request that episode all about how calendars function, go ahead and hit us up on our Instagram. That is Millennial Monologue Podcast. Millennial Monologue Podcast.
At Millennial Monologue Podcast.
We remember how to do these.
In one word.
On Facebook, it's Millennial Monologue.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, Millennial Mopod.
Because you always want more
pod.
We're learning.
You can email us at millennialmonologuepodcast@gmail.com.
Nailed it.
And you can listen to us anywhere you listen to podcasts. So that is the Apple Podcasts app, Spotify, iHeart Radio, Anchor.fm. Yes.
And technically, you can watch us on YouTube. But here's the catch. You can only watch our long episodes on YouTube. You can't catch the squibs and soliloquies. So if you're really dedicated, you'll just pick something else to listen to us.
Yes.
Also, we're not that interesting.
Yeah.
We have clothes on, so don't worry. It's not like Zoom meetings with your boss.
Your Zoom meetings with your boss don't involve clothes?
I mean, I wear a shirt.
Oh, just no pants.
I mean, I wear pants, but they're usually like pants with penguins on them or Jack Skellington or, pink cotton candy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wearing a bra right now. It is a sports bra, but I'm wearing a bra.
Me too. I feel like that's my way of trying to integrate myself back into society is putting a bra back on.
Yeah.
For a while there, it was a little scary. I was like, am I going to use these again?
Oh. I mean, I will still never be the kind of person who wears jeans at home, but
I tried that the other day and I was like, I don't get it. Jared makes fun of me all the time because I get home and I immediately put on pajamas. And he was
I'm
like,
the exact same way.
He just doesn't understand. And I'm like, I just need to be, it's my home. I can be comfy in my home.
Yeah.
I don't have
if we're going to leave our home, when we're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Then I'll put clothes on.
Maybe I'll put on sweats, but I'm still a little iffy about jeans.
Yeah.
I got that quarantine 15 going on.
I don't think I've been able to wear jeans all day. Same. But I think we said all we needed to say. Yeah. So sounds good.
Let's do it.
Bye. Bye. I hope you caught a Freddy meow in there.